The It Welcome To Derry Episode 6 trailer has just been released, and following Pennywise finally being revealed to us in Episode 5, it seems like the tormenting that he's going to be carrying out on not only the Losers Club but the entirety of Derry is going to get even stronger as the season now develops. With Dick Halloran's black box that he kept all of his dark shines locked away in being opened, and it also seeming like he could have housed his ability to see dead people locked away in there too. I now wanted to comb through the trailer for episode 6, break it down, and also give my theories and predictions on what I think could happen next. So let's get into it. Here is It Welcome to Derry episode 6 trailer explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. So what we currently know about the next episode of the show is that it's titled In the Name of the Father. Whilst this is originally said at the beginning of prayer, I think this is actually a play on words and it could end up being connected to Pennywise's daughter potentially being revealed to us. Later on in the trailer, we saw that very wig that the young clown was wearing in episode 3 of the show when a young General Shaw was at the carnival that was in Derry. So I wonder if with Lily looking through the photos of Bob Gray, what's being presumed to be Pennywise's human form, we'll see the photos of his daughter, and then that's when his daughter will reveal herself in the present day. I'll lean into some more evidence as I do the scene-by-scene breakdown of the trailer and answer who it could potentially be. So the trailer opened up and it was all in black and white, other than a red balloon that was floating through the hall. I think we're seeing Pennywise in black and white and everything related to him like that because we could end up seeing the events from Pennywise plaguing Derry in 1908 playing out in front of us. I say 1908 because in the album that Lily was looking at in the previous trailer there were photos of Pennywise as Bob Gray with his daughter and it was set in that year. So with Lily looking through the book and seeing that, and us also seeing Bob Gray too, it might show us what actually happened, and maybe even see the Kitchener Ironworks explosion. Or with Lily having looked through it, when Bob Gray appears, it could be taking place inside of her mind, and that's the way that Pennywise could be presenting himself to her, because that's the latest fear that she'll most likely have. With her seeing Pennywise right up close in the most recent episode and maybe spotting a resemblance to Bob Gray when looking through the photos, that's probably going to be a revelation that she's going to have. So if it does turn out to be Ingrid's photo album, that could be why she was seen screaming and cycling away. She'd have put all of her trust into somebody that was the daughter of the person that was frightening her and killing the people that she cared about. This was then when we heard the motif "Don't be scared" being spoken, and it would then echo throughout the entirety of the trailer. I like the incorporation of this because whilst it could be applicable to any character or any event that's coming up in the show, it simply works as a haunting motif because fear is the very thing that Pennywise preys on. So the simple answer to a degree is don't be scared, and that he basically wouldn't want you because you'd taste bad. Following this, we saw a shot of Dick Halloran in a bed and it looked like his head was in a messed up way. In the previous episode, we saw him coming face to face with his biggest fear, which was his grandfather that was abusive towards him, and he opened up the black box that Dick had locked away in his mind. This is where Dick would lock away his dark shines that he had, and it was a technique that his grandmother taught him because she also had the shining ability. With the box being opened, it showed that they were now all there to pretty much plague his mind and for Pennywise to use it against him. I also feel like he may have originally locked away the ability that he had to see the dead roaming in his reality too. As with him seeing poorly at the end of the most recent episode, it makes me think that he's now going to be seeing dead people all around him, hence why his head is going to be in a messed up state. Leroy Hanland was visiting Halloran and he said the line, "What happened down there? I gotta find what we're looking for." Hanland now has a personal connection in wanting to find it because not only was it taunting his family wherever they walked, but it was also using his family to try and make him kill them, and it also cost him the life of his best friend. With Hanland being somebody that takes pride in himself and his work, and it even being said that he's a man that doesn't possess the ability to hold fear in his body, we're definitely going to see him going on the offensive. I think Dick Halloran will be reluctant to go along with it because his mind is going to be in a messed up way, and with all of the dead that he's going to be seeing, he'll most likely be acting completely different. I think Dick Halloran seeing the dead people is going to be what connects his story to the main story. If he has the ability to see dead, then he'll most likely be seeing all of the missing children of Derry that have been taken by it that are now just lost souls trapped in the sewers of the town. So it's going to be interesting to see that connection being bridged. This will most likely make him realise that the entity can't be contained and it could make him go against the likes of General Shaw and the military. The next part of the trailer had a shot of the woods that are within Derry, and it cut to the Losers Club holding the pillar that Daniel dropped inside of the sewer that Rose gave him, and Lily said the line, "It started to glow." This was then followed by, "Maybe we can use it." First off, Lily should have a word with the rest of the Losers Club and at least have the right to be mad for just a short while, because they left her for dead with Pennywise when they ran off. They didn't look back and nobody went after her, so I'm expecting to see her complain just a little bit. Lily has now had first-hand experience in seeing what happens to Pennywise when he gets near the pillar. He knows that it can harm him, and we saw fear within his eyes for the first time ever. So I think the group is going to be keeping it close to them wherever they go right now, because they'll know that it's the only thing that'll keep them safe. The line "it glowed" was also interesting because, as we know, it glows when Pennywise is in the proximity of it, so as well as acting as a weapon, it might also act as a way of knowing if Pennywise is even near them. This shot was then followed by the scene that we had in last week's trailer where Lily was looking through the photo album and saw Bob Gray with what looked like his daughter in 1908. This was met with a woman coming up the stairs and sneaking up on Lily. We don't know whose house it is at this point, but judging by the straight dark hair, I'm presuming that it's going to be Ingrid. We were also shown that Lily knows where Ingrid lives in the most recent episode when she went round her house and sought her out, so I reckon that could be hers. I did actually rule out the theory of Ingrid being connected to Pennywise in the most recent episode because I thought her sole purpose would be to act as the married woman that Hank was having an affair with. But after seeing this clip in the trailer, I definitely think Ingrid could be the young girl in the photos and maybe even Pennywise's daughter. In the attic, there was the wig that the clown was wearing from episode 3 of the show during the opening scene, so it makes me wonder if that could well have been her. After this, it then shifted to the second focus of the episode, which it seems is going to be about Hank Grogan having escaped from the bus that was headed towards Shawshank, and now there was a wanted poster and a reward that was up for the location of him. This was followed by Halloran closing his eyes and then opening them up later on, which I think is going to be of a great importance, as I think everything that we saw between him opening and closing them is hinting towards a vision that he's going to have. The vision of the burning of the Black Spot. It looks like there's going to be a meeting for the town and they're all going to be looking for Hank. The chief said, "I know where he is," and from there, many cars were seen to be pulling up outside of the Black Spot, which is the place that Halloran set up with his colleagues after being thrown out of the bar that he was drinking in because he was black and the town was racist. I think this group could be the Legion of White Decency, which we saw on the Paul Bunyan billboard during the opening scene of episode 1. The burning of the Black Spot is something that's said to happen in the story, so I think the chief is going to assume that Hank is going to be hiding out there. That, or the chief is going to use that as an excuse to let his racist beliefs and mindset take over so he can have a reason to burn down the Black Spot. Halloran woke up from his vision after we saw that, so it makes me think that he's going to find out that everybody there is going to be in danger. The laughter, dancing, and music being played felt like it was also leaning into the fact that something terrible was going to happen there, because they're not going to be laughing for much longer. The next part of the trailer had Leroy Hanland saying to Charlotte, "This thing could see inside of my head." This is Leroy alluding to the fact that he saw Charlotte in front of him, and that even though Leroy didn't have any fear for his own safety, his fear lied from the fact that his family could come to some form of harm, and Pennywise knew that. The conversation that I think is happening here is going to be between the Hanlands about the fact that Leroy almost fired a weapon at his son. There was a shot later on in the trailer where Will almost looked afraid of his father and he told him to get away from him. It's going to be interesting seeing that being depicted on screen. All Leroy wants to do is protect his family from it, but with everything that's going on and by him bringing them to Derry, he's done the opposite, and now his son is quite literally afraid of him. This was then where we were building towards the crescendo and we had a quick succession of shots. The motif of "don't be scared, let me in" continued to play, and we had a shot of Pennywise standing at the end of the hallway with his balloon. Halloran was looking like he was in shock at what he was seeing, so I feel Pennywise could be presenting himself to Halloran and telling him to let him in because he knows that he has powers and was intrigued by him. There was then one of Lily screaming no in the same clothes that she was wearing when she could have been visiting Ingrid's house, so this could be taking place either before or after she's spoken to her and seen the photos. There was then one during the evening where the female clown was in her full outfit, and as I mentioned earlier, after seeing that silhouette behind Lily, I think it has to be Ingrid. Then there was one of the Legion of White Decency outside the Black Spot with masks on, concealing their identities, and it then concluded with the camera moving into Pennywise's turf and him emerging from the darkness. With the penultimate episode being titled The Black Spot, I feel like this next episode could conclude just as the attack on the place is about to begin, and then the penultimate one will be about it being engulfed in flames and the terrors that will occur. We've only got a few episodes left of the show now, and I can't wait to see how it's going to follow on from that amazing Pennywise reveal that we got in the most recent episode. It was executed so well, and I don't think it could have been any better. So, there you have it. It Welcome to Derry Episode 6 Trailer Explained. If you want to see more videos on It Welcome to Derry, then check the playlist below. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. What do you think will happen next? Share your thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for tuning into the video and I'll see you in the next one.